And now, podcasting from the sun-scorched desert Southwest, weighing in at a combined total of 340 pounds, Brad Winchester, Tyler McDowell-Blanken, are Gimmick Infringement.
Welcome, everybody, to the Gimmick Infringement Podcast. I am Brad Winchester, and with me, as always, is my tag team partner, Tyler McDowell-Blanken. Tyler, it's Saturday as we record this, pre-AEW Rampage, but we're gonna talk about it anyway. How you doing today?
Man, feeling good, living better. We had a really great week around these parts. Convocation went well. I actually saw a Marana High School grad. Fast forward 4, maybe 6 years later, and now they're graduating from ASU at the Teachers College nonetheless. So that was really special. I got to briefly chat with her, congratulate her, and share a hug. So that was definitely a highlight. But the rest of the week was good, man. I'm enjoying my freedom of not being in class. I told you in our pre-recording meeting, as we sometimes call it, that I'm already getting pre-production. There we go, the pre-production meeting. Yep. I got a few emails actually automated from our course. So our professors have already set up the course for Monday. You're probably hearing or seeing this Monday when we release. So it's already organized and set, but I am not organized and I am not set, nor am I eager to start this thing. I'm going to enjoy my freedom. I've decided I'm not going to check out the readings or the syllabi early. I'm just going to wait. I'm going to pop on there Monday, and it's going to go well. Fingers crossed. So anyway, man, had a really great week. Excited to be here with you. And it's just another edition of DI. So I'm happy as can be. How are you?
Doing better now. You know, I was sick earlier today. I've been fighting off these allergies for a while. It is bonkers bananas outside. It is just, I don't know what it's like by you, but there are just piles of yellow leaves full of pollen everywhere. This time of the year is brutal in Arizona for allergy sufferers. Or virus sufferers. It's impossible to know. There's gnarly stuff going around all over the schools down here. And on top of that, you can't see the mountains and it's not cloudy. It's just, the air is just so foul. So doing that, we've had a lot of people out at school. And on that note, a lot of people out sick. Some people took it upon themselves to take a day off because a video game was released. Tyler, I was mad. I came in pretty hot. Like I was upset. I got to cover all these classes because you're at home playing your Nintendo, adult with a degree, while other people are out super sick. We had 28 teachers out on Friday, 28, 10 of them at the start of the school. They did not have substitute teachers because we have subs out as well, but 28 teachers. There were people at weddings, people with sick kids, people sick in general. And I was really mad at this, and I want to get your opinion on this. But I had to step back for a second and go, okay, if a movie franchise, a movie came out that I loved, let's say it's Star Wars. It's, I don't know, it's 20 years ago now, probably. I took the day off of work for, I think, episode 2. When episode 2 released, whatever year that was, pretty sure I called in sick so I could go wait in line at the local movie theater. I don't know that I would be mad if somebody took a day off to go see a movie. So I'm not really sure why I got so upset over a video game. And maybe it's because it inconvenienced a lot of my colleagues. Luckily, it didn't inconvenience me. I dodged the bullet there that day because I had a lot of stuff I had to get done during my prep for CTE. But like a lot, we talked about that. But Tyler, what are your thoughts? Taking days off, especially in a time where there's a day in advance email saying we need sub coverage. What are your thoughts of taking time off in education specifically? Because I think that's an important distinction. They're not going to miss you at Walmart. But what are your thoughts about taking it off for something that's not like an emergency or a mental health day? It's just a game came out, a movie came out. What do you think?
There are certainly arguments to make on both sides. You're right. This is very hyper focused on education because even in my role, I would even say, if we could add a layer to this, teaching specifically, because even in my role, folks take time off, myself included, for non-ill reasons. but luckily that doesn't
Press
always
press conferences. Yeah.
that doesn't
Yeah.
always impact others' work. I think with teaching in particular, we've all been there as teachers, right? When you have to cover for someone. And I'd rather just not know why they're out. I'm assuming it'll be for ill reasons or something really unfortunate. But if to your point, I know it's because a video game was released, yeah, I would feel a way about it. But on the other hand, if there were a movie, Fast
I
X
had
is
a
coming
feeling you were
out,
going to say that. Yeah.
we will get there. Don't you worry, my man. That will be brought up again later
Hopefully,
on.
the X's will be over the eyes of this franchise after that. Yeah,
Man, I want to bring you into the fold here of the fandom of the Fast series, but
I know you do.
You don't want it, so you just
It's so bad. It's so bad.
So if it was for Fast X, you could convince me. I would even say if it's a wrestling show, right? If maybe the
Sure.
night before, and you were actually a total champ and did not take the next day off, if memory serves, when you came up here in Phoenix for Dynamite, you and George came through. It was a blast. And then you all were absolute bosses and drove back down, 90 minutes, 2 hours back to Moran, and you showed up for your work the next day. So if it was a movie or some sort of event, or I know folks really enjoy Coachella these days, it does kind of hit different, right? As opposed to video games. And that's odd because I enjoy video games as well. I just think perhaps we treat those things differently. But to answer your question directly, if I had to cover for someone's class who I knew was out for a game release, I would certainly be petty and feel a way about that. I know myself well enough to know that I would be in my feelings, no doubt. I don't know why we're like that though. Something about video games. Maybe we just associate it with childhood, and
it could be.
But if it's Coachella, we're probably okay with that.
I guess so. I don't
know.
I don't really know. So there's yeah, I really don't know. To your other point, I can't remember what happened there, but I did not have to go to work.
Oh, wait, rodeo break.
Rodeo break.
It was
George,
rodeo.
It was rodeo break. Yeah,
That's
George had to go to
right.
work, I believe. I did
That's
not.
right. Shout out, George.
I got to sleep in.
Supportive. You did. That's
yeah.
Bless Tony Khan. I remember when we discovered that. I think I hit you up.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, bro, I think you don't even have to worry about the next day at work.
Yeah.
You're on rodeo.
Yeah, because it would have been
that's a Tucson thing. My Phoenix peeps, our Phoenix listeners are saying, what in the world is rodeo break?
Yeah.
Southern Arizona, it's a thing. The rodeo comes through and school is off that Thursday and Friday.
We had days off like that in the Upper Peninsula. It was Deer Day in November. Deer Day. Yeah, it was the opening of hunting season. So many people are just gone for hunting season that there's no point in having school, so they just cancel it. No joke.
The things you learn on this earth. I had no idea.
Well, speaking of learning, I'm ready to learn your first question, Tyler. Let's get into it. WWE talk. Let's start.
Yeah, man, let's do it. So AJ Styles left SmackDown as the night's biggest winner. He advanced to the presumed main event of Night of Champions for the right to become the inaugural World Heavyweight Champion. If we rewind, if I can say that word, if we rewind to last week's Raw, we saw Seth Rollins also ascend, outlasting several of the show's top male talent. On that same show, even in defeat, Cody Rhodes remains as over with the crowd as ever. Let's assume both men become champions this summer, Brad. Seth Rollins defeats AJ Styles at Night of Champions, and Cody Rhodes defeats Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. Which crowning moment receives the bigger pop?
Seth.
Really?
I don't know.
You didn't need any time for that.
No, I don't. It's no way. I don't know that Cody's that over. I know he's over.
Let's talk about it.
How can you know for sure with all the piped in crowd noise? How much of that was real, or how much after the whoa-ohs happen in the song?
Sure.
How much of it is natural, and how much of it is just ambient crowd noise that they pump in from Madden 2K3, like just the just
it's pretty
awful.
atrocious.
Yeah, it's just awful. Now, they're gonna have to build the hell out of that story. Like they're gonna have to rebuild all of it because it was right there. I was invested, Tyler. We don't have to beat this to death, but I just the bloodline isn't what it was before Mania. Cody's not what he was before Mania. This Brock feud seems to be doing nothing for him. It just is holding time until he can have another feud. I don't think him beating Roman will mean as much. Again, I feel like it's the Randy Orton during the Thunderdome or pre-Thunderdome situation where they're at the PC and he was white hot and they waited too long to put the belt on him and he lost his steam too fast. I kind of feel the same thing. People have been waiting for Seth to get gold again for a while. I think Seth is probably the most popular talent in the company, and they've given nothing to do until now. And now Seth has something to do. He's been beating Omos at pay-per-views. He's done some other stuff, but ultimately not a lot. And I'm ready for him to have gold again, major gold. I think he would be the perfect fit. But who knows? Maybe they want to give AJ a run before he's done. So maybe they
you don't think the outcome is definitive at this point. You're giving AJ a legit shot to win this thing.
No, I think it's Seth, but maybe
it makes for better pod content. I got you.
Yeah. Well, for real, I think Hunter seems to be somebody that concerns himself about legacy, or with legacy, I should say. Sure. So if he's concerned with legacy and having AJ go out on a high note and doing the right thing for the talent that's going to retire and all of those kind of wrestling business things, it's just AJ's kind of, I don't know, is AJ bulletproof in the WWE in terms of legacy? Overall, yes. But do people in the WWE have any idea what his career was before? Do you think the casual WWE fan has ever watched him in TNA or Ring of Honor or New Japan?
Probably not.
So I don't know that his legacy would be as solidified in the WWE because of 90% of his career was elsewhere. So I don't know. So another run might do him some real good, but Seth makes all the sense in the world. Yeah, what are your thoughts?
Yeah. No, it's Seth's time for sure. I was leaning Cody, actually. I like you, I wish this would have happened at WrestleMania in LA. If I'm just forecasting towards SummerSlam, right? We know Roman is not defending gold.
We got like 4 months, so it can happen.
Yeah, it can happen. It can happen for sure. To me, it seems more likely that Cody would beat Roman at WrestleMania, was it 40 next year?
Yeah.
Rather than SummerSlam in Detroit. And I know feels like so far away, but in my mind, that's where you end up most likely that's where you end up having the rematch. Cody goes over, and that'll be a huge moment. Will it be as huge as if Cody had won this year's WrestleMania? No, but I still think it would garner an absolutely massive reaction. And one that could be bigger than Seth's. But I might also not be giving the Saudi Arabia crowd enough credit that they really get up for these events. And if you and I have learned anything over the last year, Seth Rollins is over wherever they go. We saw him live in Tucson last July 4th. Super over. Every show we're seeing now, he gets some of the biggest reaction. So I think the crowd is going to be up for him, and it's going to be a huge deal. I just hope that belt will be able to sustain that momentum. I'm just worried that it's going to end up being seen as the inferior championship, which leads me to lean toward Cody for this answer, because we know if he's the guy to defeat Roman, that is going to be the top prize. I am still a bit skeptical that when Seth wins, it's perhaps a glorified Intercontinental Championship. That might be blasphemous and a little disrespectful for me to say. I love Seth, though, but to me, it just doesn't feel as big, this upcoming moment that he's going to have. Hopefully, it still feels like, oh, he's winning the B title, which is maybe unfair. I need to give this belt and his run a shot because he's amazing.
You're not wrong. I think we think of it that way. I don't think that the IWC is an echo chamber. So it's just a bunch of people that are,
especially on Twitter.
How many people that are casual fans of the product are on Twitter tweeting about Raw and SmackDown? Yeah. So most of the comments that I see about Raw and SmackDown are like culty. So I don't think anybody casually gives a shit about the belts. I just don't. I think they're like, oh, cool, a champ is a champ, whatever.
Great point.
I never really thought, what was the main belt when the big gold belt became part of the brand?
Oh,
Okay, the fact that you had to think that hard about it
yeah.
says to me that it can get to a point where it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I also think that that belt had all of that legacy attached to it. That was the WCW title.
Right.
That was an NWA title. Flair had that title. So it's totally different in the sense that it has legacy attached to it, and this belt has zero attached to it. But we get to build it with Seth Rollins, probably having a 5-star classic with AJ Styles in front of a lot of people. So I think because of that reason, I think that match is going to be a million times better than whatever Cody and Roman put together. It just is. Like Cody will have an incredible match. Roman will have a pretty good match because they have him working as Roman instead of as this wrestler that he could be. I just don't. What do you think is going to be different about it that we didn't see at WrestleMania?
Yeah.
So
it was really the match at WrestleMania. Played the Roman greatest hits. We got the Cody. Yeah. Just if we could tweak that ending. What?
Yeah.
Why is Solo allowed back in the arena? He was kicked out. What do we do?
So the only thing this is the only thing that will get a bigger pop, and this is why I think Cody won't get the bigger pop. Cody's win might, but it won't be just because of Cody. It'll be because of Jimmy and Jay turning on Roman to ensure that Cody wins the chip.
Okay.
That part will get the cheer that Cody will receive, but it won't be Cody's pop. It'll be all of the people involved. Where with Seth and AJ, they're going to be the only two out there. The OC might be out there, but I doubt it. They stayed in back for that match because they're baby faces. So we'll see what happens with this. And I'm sure they're going to have people, they're probably going to cut promos against each other, and Seth and AJ this week. They're probably going to have some kind of tomfoolery happen. Just wanted to say tomfoolery.
Yeah, it's a great word. I just want to add here, what I saw on your Twitter, this is maybe from a week or so ago, if your fantasy booking comes true, this question may be invalid because LA Knight might be the guy to cash in on Roman. Yep. Then we get the LA Knight pop. Maybe that need to be in my question for you. This option C, LA Knight cashing in on Roman in Detroit.
I don't think it'll be on Roman. It'll probably be on Seth. It would make sense to have LA Knight win the lesser title because, like you said, this one seemed as a B title. But I think people will tune in to see LA Knight with the title. I don't want him winning the Intercontinental title right now. I'd rather have him win this title. The Intercontinental title is more important than almost any title on the brand. I'd put it above Roman's right now because it's being defended constantly.
Yeah. We need to give flowers to Gunther. He's done incredible things for that belt.
Yeah, I thought the shows overall, the shows were really good this week. The WWE product, Edge spearing two human beings. Everybody's like, he's 49. He's 49. AJ is like 45. Like, let's not sell short that AJ is the one that took the landing on his back. A flat back bump off the apron onto the floor.
And the third guy in the match, Rey Mysterio, has a whole grown-ass kid
like all of
in the WWE as well.
All
Dom,
of them are
even though they present
50.
him oddly, Dom is not 20 or 21. That man's like 26, I think. 25?
Yeah, it's crazy.
He's grown. Yeah.
That's absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, those guys are amazing.
Yeah, they're all the wrestling products right now are so good. We're spoiled.
It's heating up. We are in for an absolutely just incredible summer. I cannot wait.
Yeah, I can't wait. And Night of Champions is going to kind of kick us off there. Speaking of this week, it was announced that Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa will challenge for the tag titles at Night of Champions against Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. This was a pretty big bit of news. I do want to get to that before I finish my question. That Syria and Saudi Arabia resumed diplomatic conversations. I don't want to say negotiations, but they're talking again and things are going to ease. So I'm sure that's why Sami agreed to go. Kevin going because Sammy's going. All good for all parties involved because the "we want Sami" chants are real. They want to see representation on the show that's different than just the people that they dust off to put out there. Because for a while, it was Mustafa Ali under Vince McMahon and Mansoor. And I don't know that Mansoor coming out for a main event match is going to make any kind of sense. But Sami Zayn going out there, I think it's going to be incredible. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm probably looking forward to that at Night of Champions more than any of the matches. However, this was also the first time we've seen Roman in a very long time. It's been off for like a month.
Yeah, since Mania.
Yeah. While the Jay and Jimmy dynamic has been very strong, the Bloodline storyline has lost a lot of steam since Mania. Can it be fixed to get it back to where it once was?
Yes. Yes, it can. So I watched the promo from SmackDown. I know I texted you about it. I really enjoyed this. I think I might be higher on it than you at the moment. There is so much money to be made in. I can't believe we're here already, but the Usos feuding with Solo and Roman. It is the current Bloodline story. Are we as excited as it had as momentum as it did months ago? Especially heading into, say, Elimination Chamber and even before that Survivor Series. No, it doesn't. But I am still fully on board for the dissension of the Bloodline and now kind of a 2 versus 2. And obviously Paul Heyman presumably continues to side with Roman. Solo continues to be a super mysterious character. The turn of Jay and Jimmy now becoming guys we want to root for and going back to being baby faces, and Roman just pie facing them. I absolutely think this can get back to where it was. It's not there now, but this split happening, Brad, I'm absolutely here for it. I think the fan base is going to be super, super into all this. How about you, though? It sounds like you have some reservations about.
Yeah, I guess a better question would have been, I guess it's not what I meant.
Yeah.
Because I think I can't say the most, I think the only interesting story with the Bloodline is with the Bloodline. I think what happened is that all momentum, all feuding, all people trying to stop the Bloodline it's killed KO and Sammy's momentum.
Yeah.
I get excited for their entrances, but I kind of don't care what they're doing.
After that, you're good.
Yeah, I kind of don't care. Like, they haven't done anything to make me want to see them.
Wow.
Because they were supposed to be the ones that take down the Bloodline, and then they're just not. Cody was supposed to help them take down the Bloodline, and now we're just not. So we're just not doing any of the things that we thought were going to happen here.
Yeah. So you're thinking more along the lines of them feuding with other people on the roster. Outside of just the internal. Yeah. I agree with you there. There's a real lack of juice for sure.
I guess Roman and Solo taking on KO and Sammy is an afterthought to what's happening internally to the Bloodline, right? Like, there's no question about that.
For sure.
If you put the Street Profits into that mix or the Viking Raiders into that mix, would it make a difference for this story?
No, I don't think so.
It's all been done already. So it just feels like, what are we doing? I don't know. Roman not defending the championship after being gone since Mania and coming back to be like, in several weeks, I will be back for a tag team. Like, what? I don't care about this. They're doing a good job of making the other belt feel more important by having Roman simply not use the belts he has and defend them. I don't know why Adam Pearce hasn't come in and just been like, no, you're defending it. Or Triple H going, hey, there's a clause in your contract that says I get to make executive decisions and you're wrestling tonight. I don't understand why we're still doing this. I know they're just trying to get him to 1,000 days, but I just don't want to see it right now. It's just boring to me.
Well, especially as we prepare for a show called Night of Champions. And correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not just under the presumption. I believe the stated rules, the gimmick, if you will, is that at this show, every title must be defended. So I
don't know. Because that's
isn't that the
it used to be
the title?
Every title on the show will be defended, but not every title.
Particularly the main men's one.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't have the US, okay, like
you have Night of Champions and you don't have the title being
the
defended.
guy. Even if it's even if it's a predetermined outcome, we know Roman's not losing. Even if we know, no, you're upset. I'm upset too. Even if we know Roman is not losing at the show, you at least got to have him defend. And you just had this tournament where you have all these big names, all of these capable dudes on the roster on SmackDown. So whether it's running it back with Edge or Lashley versus Reigns or
Yeah.
AJ even, I mean, there are. It's not as if you are lacking suitors. Are any of these dudes going to be the guy to take it off Roman? No, definitely not. But you can give us a quality match. I said I was high on this internal bloodline situation, but as we prepare for the show, I do think it's a really curious decision to have the Roman use be in a tag team with Solo against KO and Sammy. Man, you got to have the guy defending at the show. That's a miss for me.
Yeah, I don't get it. That's you're thinking Battle of the Belts there, and maybe Clash of Champions, and that's why they're rebranded to Night of Champions.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I might be.
But yeah, it feels like if you're going to call it that, it should be a night full of champions defending their belts. And the way around it, I get it, is Roman doesn't have to because he's already in a title match. So
do you think there's
but what about all the tag? There's a bunch of tag teams that are going to be on there because
so many. This is actually going to be my original question for you. What percentage chance or likelihood are you giving a Roman and Solo victory? Do you think they take the belts from KO and Sammy?
I could see that. Yeah.
Wow.
It would make sense storyline wise if they won.
Right.
Who's the first number one contender?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Now we got a split. Now we have a reason.
So the KO and Sammy tag run would be just
a wet fart, like
a month and a half. You got your moment at WrestleMania, and then you did a whole bunch of nothing. You had the rematch on SmackDown.
It's like they had a rematch, and they
made
had
some
one other
entrances.
match.
You got pops, and that was.
They lost a triple threat.
This is gonna be a tough one. I'm not saying this is Seth Rollins versus The Fiend in Sacramento and Hell in a Cell, but this is gonna be very interesting. Do the Usos accidentally cost Roman and Solo? Solo takes the pin, obviously not Roman, or does the Bloodline just reign supreme again and they beat these guys? I'm not saying they're booking themselves into a corner, but I'm going to be very interested to see what they do with this match. I just hope it's not a false finish.
I'm with you. Now you got me interested in this thing.
they got us hooked. Both.
But again, anybody could have the belts. Anybody could have the belts in this situation.
Yeah.
We're here for the Bloodline story,
right?
And not for who they're fighting. Like right now, I don't care.
Totally agree with you on that. That's a really good point.
Hopefully the promo on Raw and hopefully SmackDown will get us there.
Yeah, I hope so.
Well, we've seen the tag titles in better states, but nothing better in a better state than 19 Media. It's time for the State of 19.
Late breaking news from the world of 19 Media.
Join Jess and Carmen for their adventure to Indiana on the latest episode of Small Town USA. You'll learn about corn dogs, why you can't kiss a girl and also wear a mustache, and lots more on this teeth-clenching edition. Tune in today. Bad news for me.
They're the best. On the latest episode of Close Up Magic, friend and fellow Fast and Furious series lover, might I add. Shout out to this gentleman. He's got my back. He knows. Former guest of the show, and he is an Orlando Magic super fan. Lots of titles for him. Stephen Cameron. He breaks down the summer ahead for the Orlando Magic franchise. Tap in today.
Well, it is a fantasy to love that franchise. But if you love fantasy golf, Mojo 19 co-founder is always dropping knowledge on Hidden Gems Golf. Check out the latest installment to hear his thoughts on the AT&T Byron Nelson.
Jabari Davis, formerly of 19 Media and now producer for iHeartMedia, continues to do great work on the podcast Miles and Jack Got Mad Boosties, an NBA podcast. You can check him out at Jabari Davis NBA.
We love supporting those who support us. Our guy Desmond Powell dropped a new episode of Hip to the Games entitled NBA Let's Talk About It, number 5. Check it out. Here is analysis and all the news and notes emanating from the NBA playoffs.
Speaking of hoops, the fellas at the Baseline NBA podcast dropped a new episode of their Autopsy series. These are really fun. Tap in and hear their official reports on what led to the demise of the Memphis Grizzlies and the Sacramento Kings.
It's been a wild playoffs. LeBron and AD are advancing to the conference finals. The crew at Late Night Lake Show are your go-to source for everything surrounding one of basketball's most infamous franchises. Check out the latest episode to hear their takes on a very entertaining second round series against Steph Curry, future wrestling heel Draymond Green. You can absolutely see that happening, and the Golden State Warriors.
It needs to happen. Big shout to 19 co-founder Warren Shaw and his show Dope Interviews. Tune in to hear, and you can also see this, he's on YouTube, his most recent conversation with the talented actress Carla Simone Spence.
Finally, much love to Mike Steph, former GI guest and fellow podcaster. Check out his new show, The Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph, for passionate commentary on the latest news in sports, professional wrestling, and New York politics. I expect nothing short of fire from Mike. May his New York Knicks rest in peace.
Amen. I saw that he dropped a special YouTube episode over the weekend. His instant reactions to both the Knicks and the Warriors losing. His two teams both lost in the same night. Unfortunately, I know that pain. Listen, man, we are 30 minutes in, haven't said a peep about the Suns. As planned, they just are lacking heart and played awful at home once again and got trounced by the Nuggets. But this isn't about me and my hurt feelings. This is about Mike. He dropped an instant reaction, like you said, Brad, full of fire. He's just built different. We love him and always want to support what he does. So all of these people you heard about are amazing. They're talented and certainly worthy of your eyes and ears. So give them a shout.
Yeah, and Tyler, listen, man, I spent some money this week trying to win, trying to bet on your beloved Phoenix Suns. I was in on them. I had a couple of different parlays going. One of them would have netted me a few $100s. It was over before it began. Yeah, it was just a little $5 bet, but it was a big parlay. I would have won it, but I picked Phoenix on the money line. But I was placing bets alone. And if you're tired of placing bets alone, not having anyone to talk about your predictions, if you want to connect with other sports bettors and share your winning strategies, look no further than Sharps, the social network for sports bettors. With Sharps, that's Sharps with a Z, you can connect with friends, see what they're betting on, and even interact with their bets. The iOS app connects to all major sports books and daily fantasy platforms like DraftKings, FanDuel, BetMGM, Prize Picks, and Underdog. Here's the best part. If you download Sharps now and use the promo code WIND338, that's WIND 338, you'll receive access to the community, start showing off your betting shops, and an opportunity to compare your bets with us. So, what are you waiting for? Download Sharps today, use our promo code WIND338, and start connecting with other sports bettors. Don't forget to share your winning strategies and interact with other users' bets. Join the social network for sports bettors and take your betting game to the next level. I have been using this $10 that I put in a couple of weeks ago. Just been winning and accumulated. And then I throw on whatever I have in there on that next one. This past week was the first time I had to reload and put 10 more in because I lost all of it. And then I immediately lost all of it again, except I did pick the Florida Panthers to win the series over the Maple Leafs. And I love it. Tyler, I don't know if you caught the videos, but when Toronto moved on, they were chanting in the streets, "We want Florida." Florida Panthers have no business winning. They have absolutely no business winning. They're Florida.
There's hockey in Florida. I'm still like, I knew this was a fact, but I'm still processing in my
champion.
mind.
Tampa Bay has won. Florida hasn't really won anything since the 90s, but the Florida Panthers, they beat the Boston Bruins, who set a regular season win record, all-time win record, beating my beloved Detroit Red Wings record.
They were up 3-1, right?
Yes.
Okay. I did hear. See, I mess with hockey. I know a little bit. I did hear about that.
Fun.
It's great to see Boston lose, though. In general, no disrespect to our Massachusetts fan base, but you know,
lots of Boston teams losing. Watching the Panthers just Net a victory on a team that chanted, "We want Florida," and then they got them. Amazing. They're moving on to the conference finals. Florida has a legitimate chance of winning the Stanley Cup this year. It's incredible. I kind of want to tune in. I always root for the underdog if my team's not in the race. So I'm absolutely rooting for Florida this year. That was one that was safe. And then I was like, I'm going to turn this $4 that I won or whatever into 20. Update, I did not. But it is fun to go on there and post and see what other people are doing that you're following. Shout out to 19 Media for setting this up with Sharps. It's a lot of fun. Please, if you're already using a DraftKings or FanDuel or BetMGM, if you go to Sharps, you log in, use our promo code, and then post one of the bets. It really helps us out. It helps the network out. And it's a lot of fun. Tyler, it's time for AEW talk. Let's get it.
Yeah, man. Well said. Lots of just great entertainment, lots of sports right now. It's a great time to be able to talk with you about all of this. So speaking of things I'm excited for, AEW, what a dynamite. There's lots of avenues I could go here with my question. We got Omega and Moxley, the Don Callis turn, House of Black with this new format, this open rules. I want to get your thoughts on that, but I'm going a different direction. Here I go. Thunder Rosa and Miro appeared on AEW Dynamite for the first time in a while. We've spoken about the latter quite a bit. I want to focus on the former women's champ. Two-part question for you, a Winchester special, as it were. What have you thought about the way Rosa's off-screen beef with Britt Baker has been presented on All Access? And B, which of these options is the best way to have Thunder Rosa return in the ring? Join the Outcasts, join the Originals with Britt, or do her own thing completely separate on AEW Collision?
Do her own thing. Too many people in that feud. I don't need to see that. I can see Thunder Rosa going to Ring of Honor and taking over the ROH women's belt from Athena. That match would rule, but I know they have plans for her on Collision, and her star is it belongs on the main shows. Even though I want to see her on Ring of Honor because they're doing really cool stuff over there. After seeing clips of promos and some of the matches, I think I'm going to get Honor Club. I think I have to make that move. It's really good television. Wow. So I'm kind of excited for it. We could discuss later who watches Impact and who watches ROH. We'll add it to our pod flow. Yeah, man. I think Thunder Rosa debuting on Collision is the same for Miro. They both could headline that show, be the stars of that show. They'll be floating in and out of Dynamite, obviously, but I could see that happening. My real question is, what are they chasing? If we have 3 shows and 1 title, where does the TNT or the TBS title go? Does the TBS title follow them to Collision? Does the TBS title float? I could see Thunder Rosa going after Jade, and that could make a lot of sense, and then being the TBS champ over on Collision. But I hadn't even considered it. But Thunder Rosa and Chris Statlander, and they could build out their own small mega roster over there. The way that they're putting this roster together, what they've already announced, it's like it's going to be a good show. My God. So we'll see what happens. I would love to see Thunder Rosa doing her own thing. I like that Sky Blue does kind of her own thing. I like that there's a bunch of talent that are doing their own thing. Jade hasn't been involved at all. Athena hasn't gotten involved at all. Athena would join the Outcasts probably, but I don't know because she left WWE for a big reason. Or would Ty Conti join the Outcasts? Because she's kind of in Yaz still, but Sammy's kind of doing his own thing now too. So he's still in Yaz, but he's not. It's very confusing what's happening over there. So I don't know. But I'd like to see Thunder Rosa do her own thing. I think she's good on her own. She's always been on her own. I don't know that I want to see her in a faction.
Yeah,
how about you?
Yeah, man, that's completely fair. In terms of I'm going to start with this and it'll get to my answer. In terms of All Access, I really enjoy seeing all of the I really enjoy seeing all of the backstage elements. It's just it's so cool to see what goes on.
Great episode this week.
Oh, I haven't seen this week's episode.
Oh, it's so good. Emotional.
I'm several weeks behind. I'm probably on like episode 2.5, and I paused it.
I missed like
through.
3.
Yeah. But I just enjoy seeing the background and seeing just all that goes into the magic they create every week. I am kind of ready to move beyond the Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker.
Yes.
I don't know. It has all the elements that makes wrestling great. It blurs the lines. Apparently, by all accounts, these two don't really mess with each other off screen. There's heat there, but we saw some of it on TV, and we've just heard so much of it, whether through reports, and now it seems like All Access is just really furthering the storyline to the point where I think we are going to get some sort of Britt and Thunder interaction this year. But like you, I kind of want Thunder to do her own thing on Saturdays on Collision, or whether that be, like you said, perhaps go to ROH and do something with Athena there. That would be a great pay-per-view match for the women's division. I don't know that I'm yearning for Britt versus Thunder as much as others might. If anything, I would rather have Britt and Thunder aligning in some way. Maybe that's because I love both of them and I want to see them embrace. But I don't know that I'm yearning for Britt versus Thunder. Perhaps like some of the AEW fan base are through reading reports, through watching All Access, where Thunder's name gets effectively brought up all the time, at least on the first 2 episodes. I don't know what it's been like lately, Brad. You said it was emotional, but early on, I just felt like, man, I don't know if I'm here for the continued drama about it. I hope all parties move on. Both are great, and I want them in prominent storylines, and ideally maybe separate from each other.
Well, it's a backstage wrestling podcast or a TV show, excuse me. And I don't know how much of it has worked or not, because it feels set up. Like those 3 are just casually in the hallway suddenly, and they're like, "Hold up, we're going to record something."
Yeah,
that doesn't. So
some scripted elements. Perhaps.
Yeah, I think there's quite a bit of that, probably to set up that feud, and maybe they really don't like each other, because that was reported a while ago. But to lean this hard into it feels. Yeah, same with the Ruby and Ty Conti stuff. It felt like, I don't know how much I bought into it, but it's probably based on an element of truth. I don't know if she really hates her. And now they're like, but we're good now because she kept me safe and we had a good match and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay. But I was really, I'm still really into it, because all the Adam Cole stuff was real deal. And that's what it was this week. So it's worth checking out. I think that this week was really worth checking out, but I want to see Thunder Rosa over on Collision doing her own thing. But I'm like you, I'm ready to move away from this Brit stuff.
Yeah.
Love both of them, but I don't.
Absolutely. Love both of them. I think Thunder Rosa, wherever she goes, should be a top contender for a title, considering she never lost the previous one. Yeah, I don't want her. If we have a few weeks of her beating some local talent, okay, but I want her inserted into a title picture as soon as humanly possible.
Well, you asked me earlier to talk about this, and it is my question, which is why it didn't. Power of the House of Black had an open rules match. The open house match. I freaking loved this match. I'll give you my thoughts later, but I want your thoughts, number one. And number two, I want you to compare it to WWE's Lights Out match.
Oh boy. Okay. I also loved it. Long time, even maybe short time viewers and followers and supporters of GI know that you and I are huge fans of this trio. And also shout out to Julia Hart and her getting a primetime spot on Dynamite as well. And a JAS. Yeah. Open house, open rules, house rules, whatever we're calling it. It was amazing. It is the tweak that I think is really needed to establish House of Black as being a special entity on the product, separating them from previous trios champions. We know they can go out and have a great match with anyone, but I think their presentation lends itself to have something more, something special. And this is exactly what that is, what we saw on Wednesday. Amazing. Loved it. How does it compare to Lights Out in WWE? I would say it's much better, much more effective. To me, this felt less gimmicky And certainly it wasn't sponsored by a beverage company or anything. It was just, hey, this is unique. I really enjoyed this. It felt less gimmicky and more, this is just another example of why this group is so special
Yeah.
and why they should not lose these belts until maybe 2024 at the soonest.
If even.
If even. Love this. All these guys are deserving of gold. I have zero qualms about what we saw on Wednesday. What say you?
I thought this is what the lights out match should have been.
Yes.
It was simple, right? Like they had
Yes.
the Tron in the background with some of the fire elements coming up, and that's it. They dimmed the arena and they just had that light glow over the but a blue light, just light enough to light the ring and to see very clearly. But everything else was dark except for the Tron. It just added this sort of element to it that I think was missing from the House of Black. But them wrestling in this is perfect for them. It is perfect for what they are as a faction. God, I love this. This ruled so hard. The lights out match was just too much. Like there was emphasis on the lights. So much so that the match was kind of bad. So and I don't know how you have a bad match with Bray Wyatt and LA Knight. I don't understand. And Uncle Howdy missing the mark by 40 feet. It's still hilarious. It's still one of the funniest things. Oh man, it's got to be out of the funniest things of the year. We got to add it.
I was gonna say that was 2023. We can confirm.
That's so crazy.
That feels so long ago already.
Yes, it absolutely does. This is a blast.
Yeah, man, this is wonderful. Like you said, it was less hokey and more, oh, this is really cool, and this adds. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know that they need to have this match every single time they're fighting. This is more a special stipulation, special occasion. I thought it was brilliant.
I don't know, because they said we're now under house rules, and I think anybody can apply, and we'll do it that way, unless it's hey, Tony Khan has announced you'll challenge at this pay-per-view.
Yeah,
I don't know if they'll do it, because if it's what is it, champion's advantage,
right,
then they can do the house rules thing. But I love that they're like, but balance is key. We can't have all the advantages. You get to pick one stipulation.
Right. Yeah. The promo, the vignette setting it up. I think this was last week now, week before last. Yeah, it was all just so good. I'm so happy these guys are back on the screen, and hopefully with this edition, they'll now be used more consistently. Because I think for a while, everyone knew the fan base is totally here for them, but it seemed like we just weren't seeing them on TV frequently enough. But obviously now with an extra 2 hours of TV with Collision, hopefully they're going to be a key focus of programming moving forward.
I'm waiting for the Blackpool Combat Club to bring out Danielson, Mox, and Claudio in a house rules match where the stipulation is, I don't know. We'll say the stipulation is submissions only. You can only win by submission. You have the bulldog choke. You have the label lock, I think is what they're calling it here. Not the yes lock. That would be strange. And a whole bunch of other things. I can see the Bucks and Omega in there again. I don't know where Pac is. I've been thinking about this a lot. I don't know if Pac is injured. I don't know if he's just stuck over in the UK or what, but he's just been absent, and it's freaking me out a little bit that he's just been gone. So I'm hoping he's back, and I hope to see him in a submission, and hopefully I've filibustered long enough for the vacuum to stop.
Yeah. Yes. Continue.
No. I'm good. For those of you watching on YouTube, you just watched Tyler take his headset off and walk away as I slap the microphone one more time. Absolutely incredible, organic as hell.
Great filibustering.
I love this. At least, is it a Dyson? Is it a Hoover?
Oh, Hoover all day.
Okay, a 48-ish Hoover. Timestamping.
Future sponsor is how I like to look at it. We're just
hopefully it's not because we suck. Yes, dad joke. Just wanted to get one in. Okay, AEW had a really good week. Hopefully Rampage lives up to the Dynamite expectations, because it was really, really good. But something that's not always really good, Tyler, is the way people behave at the gym. It is time once again for another edition of Trap Tales.
I love this so much. I'm going to try to be brief here. So for a while now, I've noticed that I'll just give some background. I try on a good day to get up to the gym during the week at like 5:15 a.m. And my first point of emphasis is going to the basketball court. Luckily, this sport that I'm at has a basketball court. It's super nice. And I go in there, and for several months, I would usually be the only person in there, or maybe someone else would arrive, but they would be on their side, do their thing. And, we're all here in the spirit of fitness and love for the game. We wouldn't necessarily play fives or one-on-one or anything like that. It's not that serious. But I noticed lately that it's become some sort of child basketball factory. There's a gentleman there who seems pretty cool. And slowly but surely over the months, he has built up his clientele. So now, beginning at 5:20, 5:30, there will be up to 5 or 6 kids in there getting coached by him. And I've seen it when I walk in that I don't know that all these kids and their families have memberships to the gym. So I don't know if they worked out some sort of side deal. I'm assuming he's being paid for his services. I have so many questions, Brad, but I don't ask any of them. I just get there, I take my side, and then I notice that he brings out the cones and all of his items. And kids' parents show up. I would say the oldest kid there is probably 15 or 16. The youngest is maybe 9 or 10. So no issues. It's open to everyone, right? But my problem, where this becomes problematic, if you will, is when the music starts playing. So he brings his own sound system, like any good club or AAU coach. He brings his own sound system. Usually the music is bumping. I'm not mad at the song selections per se, but it's the fact that my man's doesn't use the edited versions of the songs. Perhaps call it my teacher instinct, but I can just be really focused and really in my zone, maybe make a few jump shots in a row. But then I hear the beginning of Future Mask Off, and I just wait for the first explicit word or the first use of the N word, and I'm like, oh no, my man is just going full blown explicit Jones, no edited versions. And there are parents there.
Nice.
There are white parents. This guy's a brother. There are white parents and white kids there often, and there's no editing of the lyrics. And I take real issue with that. I don't know. I thought the first time it happened, maybe the parents were going to be like, yo, my man's no, I didn't pay for this service. But they're totally cool with it. No one has an issue, which is just beyond me. Whenever I had music in class, Brad, as kids walk in and we have some background music, I always tried to make sure they were edited. Was I perfect at it? Maybe I had one slip up. Maybe there was Travis Mode Sicko mode that YouTube said was edited, but secretly wasn't. Probably been guilty of that once, and hopefully I rectified it. But I just think when you're around children, especially 9-10 years old, and the parents are there too, you got to use edited Future music. So that's my trap tale this week. I don't know what we're doing where we're blasting tunes that are full dirty lyrics, but we got to change that. The success, the future of the health, the success of our future depends on it, man. What are we doing out here when people are paying you for your service? They are underage and you're using dirty Future songs. That's not okay. It throws off my game on the other side of the court, and I'm not happy about it.
Well, you also don't. Man, I'm sorry. That bringing your own sound system to a gym where you pay a membership for. No, I'm sorry. No.
I've been guilty of it before.
If it's a closed gym, no. That I would be heated. I would either be asking for a refund or something. I would be real upset about that. Like that to me is like when I go hiking and I go to Seven Falls and there's some asshole with a portable speaker. I'm in nature to get away from you. Like I don't want to be near you with your JBL.
With the JBL, I had one of those. I'm a Beats guy now, but
Yeah, well, I still am a Beats guy too. I am still stuck with the power Beats that don't fit correctly and the wires are wearing out. They're the over the ear, but they're earbuds with the little ear clips.
Right?
So
I see. Yeah.
Flying off when I'm running.
My head is so oddly shaped that this is a real conversation I have with myself when buying any sort of head involving products. earphones, headphones, earbuds, hats.
Yeah.
This matters.
Yeah, maybe another edition of Trap Tales down the road.
Maybe another edition of Trap Tales. Indeed, I think we got the third episode ready to go.
I like these. They're a little tight, but I want to get another pair of over the ear for the gym. Obviously, not ones with a giant wire hanging off of them, but that's the next get for me. What did we miss this week, Tyler?
I don't think we missed a ton. Two notes that I have. Obviously, Fast X is coming out. Rest assured, I will be giving you my review very, very soon. Tickets have not been purchased, but trust and believe they will be. And then finally, I won't read the full report, but I neglected to mention last week that Fightful Select provided an update on Drew McIntyre, specifically that word is his deal is up in early 2024, and it's not a foregone conclusion that he's going to resign. Apparently, he's had some questions about his creative and such. So you know how I feel about Drew McIntyre. Love that dude. Love his work. I think this is a situation to keep a close eye on. He's proven before that he can be uber successful without WWE. So I am really excited to see what his journey ahead involves. Even if he stays with WWE, I just want good things for that guy. How about you? What did we miss?
I can't think of anything. The Drew McIntyre situation. We're either going to get Galloway or we're going to get McIntyre. Either way, I want to see him work. So he would be an immediate champion in AEW. I think he would claymore everybody over ropes and out of the way. He's just 9 times the size of everybody there.
Yeah, that'd be so good.
But like Drew and Hobbs would be a lot of fun to watch. I would love to see. There's a lot of people there that I think could do a really good match because that dude knows how to wrestle. So I could. Oh my god! I just. Kenny Omega and Drew McIntyre.
Already finished. I just threw it out there just to let you know. Make sure you're on the same page. Yeah, he's a pro's pro. I adore that guy.
No, everything else seems to be in wrestling media. There were there's some people that some things came out of people in wrestling media that were not so great. And I'm not going to address it here because then I want to give that person attention. But outside of that, I don't know that there's a lot that we missed that we need to talk about other than Asuka misting the hell out of Bianca Belair and Bianca selling it like she had lava in her eyes was something that was a conversational piece on the timeline. I loved it. I thought her selling it made it seem so much worse and so much more of a threat versus, oh, I got mist in my eyes. Oh no, I can't see for 5 minutes. No, it's burning. It's on fire. Get me to a hospital. And I thought that was great. So, and then Asuka tweeting out, I put chili pepper in this week's mist or whatever was so great.
She's the best.
But it's making me more invested in this. And it's starting to feel like maybe Asuka's the one that does take the belt off of Bianca.
Yeah, I wouldn't be mad at that. We love them both. You all know the deal, gimmickinfringementpod.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at Winduster and at Tyler J. McDowell. You can also follow us collectively at GIPod19. If you are hearing and or seeing this right now, thank you so much. Every single listen, watch, like, retweet, text, all of it. It truly means the world to Brad and I. We hope you enjoyed this episode. And if you didn't, don't tell nobody. We're wishing you a week full of joy, good health, great wrestling, and if you haven't already, please thank a teacher. We love you all, and we'll see you soon. Gimmick Infringement is a part of 19 Media Group. You can listen to us on Good Pods, our premier partners, and Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube via the 19 Media Group channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.